So I'm going to talk about two things today. One, I feel like a lot of people are going to agree with me on this. I hope that a lot of people are going to agree with me on this. Let's be realists, right? Let's stop doing it for the gram kind of attitude with things, because I think a lot of people do that. They've been doing that since Instagram started. I think I had my Instagram since 2011, 2012, and I've been seeing it since then. So I feel like it's been going on for a while. Money can't buy style at all, and nobody cares how much money you spend on something. Let's start off with the money can't buy style topic. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't like nice things, because I do. I love Louis Vuitton bags. I love Gucci bags. I love nice dresses and jewelry, nice cars. Like, trust me, I like that stuff. I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't like it. But just because you spend a lot of money on something doesn't mean that it looks good. Hate to say that, but it's the truth. I have seen a lot of really, really ugly Gucci outfits and Gucci bags. And I feel like it's gotten worse recently. Did anybody ever see like the Gucci models with the amount of clothes that they have on? They have like t-shirts layered over long sleeve shirts, laying over vests with scarves wrapped around from their chin to their head. They look like they just had a facelift on. Like, I don't get that style at all. But I bet you that outfit is a lot of money. All the things they have on. Even some of the jewelry I don't like with the beads and stuff on it. It's just not my style. I'm sure people do like it. But just because you spend a lot of money on something doesn't mean that it looks good. And I'm going to bring this back to the wedding industry for a second, because I work in the wedding industry. I'm also getting married this year. Everybody knows I was supposed to be married last year, but that was canceled due to the crazy 2020 year that we were in. I feel like a lot of things in the wedding industry, sadly, the prices of everything are like jacked up because it is the wedding industry. So they basically fuck people with prices. That's for anything from videographers, photographers, DJs, like everything. Makeup, hair, everything. Like, you could go get your hair blown out at the salon for like $100. When it's your wedding, it's like $1,000. Like, it's just insane, but it is what it is. But I feel like it also has to do with when people with their wedding, they start spending a lot of money on things. And then they feel that because they spent a lot of money on something, it's going to be like this, so different than any other wedding people have been to. And I have said since day one, my opinion of weddings have not changed since I've been like 14 or 15. And like I said, I'm having a wedding, but I'm also a realist with things. Weddings can lean towards the corny side sometimes with a lot of aspects of a wedding. And I also think people put too much pressure on guests to think that it's your special day with your husband or your wife. A lot of people, like, I'm going to be so honest about this, really, they're coming because they want to celebrate you guys and whatever, but they really, at the end of the day, it's another wedding and they're coming to eat the food, enjoy themselves. Anyway, when it comes to, let's talk about dresses and shoes and jewelry for a second. When it comes to dresses, now I went to not that many stores for myself. I kind of just knew what I wanted, so I didn't really go to that many stores. I'm not a picky person to begin with, because I'm confident with what my style is. So I didn't even like look at certain dresses if I knew they weren't my style. So for me, it was pretty easy. I've been like this way my whole life. I remember my Sweet 16, proms, like everything. I'm not a difficult person to find things because I know what fits me. So I won't even try things on. Some people go and they'll go to the most expensive store they could think of, spend a ton of money, like a ton on a dress, $20,000, $30,000 on a dress. And the dress looks like shit. Seriously, like I've seen it. I've seen prices on the dresses. One time I went to a little boutique in Montclair. They had like 10 dresses on the racks and the starting price was $16,000 for these dresses. And I started going through them. I'm like, what makes this dress $16,000? It doesn't even have beading or sequin or nothing. There's nothing on it. It's just like a plain white dress. Like, well, I don't understand where people are getting the price. I feel like because they're buying it at this certain store, they feel that, oh, this dress is worth $25,000. No, it ain't, bitch. It's definitely not worth $25,000. Just because they're ripping you off. And you bought it at, Kleinfeld in the city. And I'm sure I've seen a lot of beautiful dresses from Kleinfeld, so I'm not like taking a dig at them. Kleinfeld has some beautiful dresses there, but they also have some horrible dresses there. Horrible. I've seen girls that have got their dresses at Kleinfeld before have looked like shit. And I'm sure places like where I went to Park Ave, I'm sure there's some ugly dresses there as well. And some of the dresses that I pointed at in certain racks, when I first got there, not even realizing like the industry of how much things cost at that point, because I was like new to planning my wedding. This was last year. I was like, holy shit. 20,000, 25,000, 30,000. Who's spending that? Unless, even if I had the money to spend that on a dress, to me, for an 8-hour event, the dress didn't look any different than like the $6,000 or $7,000 dresses to me. I don't understand where people get the mentality that they feel that they have to spend that much money on a dress. It's really sad actually that people take full advantage of girls when it comes to their wedding. So I just have to give you guys like a short story about an example of something that has to do with a wedding. So somebody I know went to Kleinfeld's, and they spent, I believe it was $30,000 on a dress, which whatever, they had the money to do it, so it is what it is. But, they then proceeded to get $5,000 ribbons, I can't, and got them sewed to the bottom of the dress, and they paid $5,000 a ribbon. And let me tell you, when I saw a picture of this dress, it was horrible. The dress, I'm just gonna be honest, the dress was horrible. They then proceeded to tell people that they spent $5,000 a bow. I don't see the point in that. There was a ton of bows on the bottom, so imagine how much this dress cost. So just because you got this dress at Kleinfeld's doesn't mean that it looks good. You get what I'm getting at here? And then girls show up and they tell everybody, oh, I got this at whatever store they went to. Like, honestly, bitch, nobody cares. I just want to see what the dress looks like. I don't care where you bought it. I don't even care. I don't care if you fucking got it at the Salvation Army. Like, I don't care where you got your dress. I really don't. But it better be beautiful. It better be a nice ass dress. And this kind of ties into my next topic, which is, if you buy something and you feel the need to tell somebody how much you spent on it, you probably shouldn't have bought that item. Like, if you come up to me and if I compliment your purse and I'm like, ooh, I like your Louis Vuitton bag, and you come up to me and you go, yeah, I spent $11,000 on it. Like, that to me is so corny. I can't even explain it. I hate when people do that. I hate it. Unless I specifically ask you how much you spent on it, which I would never do anyway, because that's corny. But if I specifically say like, oh, I really want to buy that purse. Where did you get it? How much was it? Like that kind of conversation. That's the only kind of conversation I could picture where that scenario would make sense, where you tell me how much you spent. But if you go out of your way to tell me, like, if I even compliment, say, your car, and you're like, oh, yeah, I spent like $80,000 on it. Like, bitch, who asked how much you spent? Because let's be real. My favorite car, I currently have a Wrangler, and that's my favorite car. Like, I've always wanted a Wrangler. That's my favorite car ever. But there are some Wranglers, when I was looking at them, that are close to $100,000. That look, honestly, they don't look any different than the ones that were $50,000. So if that's like if somebody complimented my car and I was like, oh, thank you, I spent $95,000 on it, they'd be like, okay, and like, what's your point? Because literally it could be in the driveway or be in the car dealer with 10,000 other cars, and nobody would be like, oh, wow, that's like that's a $100,000 car. There are also some car manufacturers, like, and I'm going to call them out, Bentleys, that are so fucking ugly. Like, they're so ugly. They look like sedans. From the back, they look like a van. If you took the name Bentley off that car, nobody would buy it. Nobody. And it's not just that brand. There's some Mercedes, some BMWs. There's one in each, I would say one in each category where you're like, take the name off of that vehicle and nobody would purchase it. Because the body style, if you just look at the body style, of course, if you look at the body style of the car, nobody would like it. Some of them look like vans. Some of them look like cars from 10 years ago. Like, I'm going to actually swing back really quickly to weddings for a second because I totally forgot to mention something. So last year I was looking for a hairpiece for my hair, obviously. And one of the items that I was looking for, I just wanted something that had like rhinestones that was very sparkly. And I looked at all different, I looked in boutiques, I looked at stores, I started to look online. I kind of was starting to look everywhere. No matter where I went, if it was anything that was related to a wedding type of hairpiece, that's where you're going to find like the sparkly-ish kind of barrette kind of hairpieces, we're starting at $1,500 for a barrette with Swarovski crystal on it. Swarovski crystal is not real. It's like plastic. So why are we charging so much for barrettes for your hair? I don't, like, that to me seems a little, I'm probably going to have to get one anyway, sadly. But that's what I mean with jacking the prices up with weddings. How sad is that? Oh, is it for your wedding? Oh, then it's $1,500. But if I wanted a sparkly barrette to wear like out every day, it would probably be $10. Like, I feel like I get fucked on both ends because it doesn't matter what I'm buying. It's just the point that it's associated with a wedding. So that's how much it costs. And this is going to come off so super mean, but you should know by now I'm a realist. Why is it that the people that will buy like they'll buy one item, whether it's a purse, a jewelry, pair of earrings, a car, no matter what it is, they'll have one nicer item. Feel that that's the only, like, they'll look at you like, oh, you have a Wrangler? Oh, I have a BMW truck. But that's like the only nice item they have. Like, there's a certain term for it. I can't think of it off the top of my head right now, but it's like when you spend all your money on one item and everything else you own looks like shit. Like, we should have, I don't care if you spend $10 on a dress. If it fits your body good and it looks bomb, fucking go for it. Why do we have to feel the need to spend like hundreds of dollars on things and then we have to, then that's the reason why people tell people how much they spend on things. Money can't buy style. Money can't buy style in a lot of categories. But don't feel the need to spend a ton of money on something and then tell people the designer and how much it costs, because honestly, nobody cares. Seriously, like, nobody asked. If I compliment something, it's because I like the look of it. I didn't say it because I like the brand. I didn't say it because I thought you spent a lot of money on it. I'm telling you I like it because I like the style, the way that it looks. Now, back in the day, back in my clubbing prime days, if you're from the East Coast, I don't know if these were throughout the United States. I'm not really sure. But does anybody remember the store Joyce Leslie? Like, that was my shit. Because you would buy stuff. It was kind of like, you know how Shein exists now? It was like the Shein, but it was an actual store. They had like cheap dresses, cheap like going out tops and stuff like that. If you wanted to buy something that was super trendy and in like currently, it probably wouldn't be in next season. That's where you would go. And I used to buy all kinds of shit there. I'd wear the thing one time and I would either like sell it on Poshmark or get rid of it or just give it to my sisters, whatever. I didn't care because it was like super trendy and you knew, like I said, it honestly, the top might not even last through that one club time because they weren't the best quality. But I loved Joyce Leslie. I loved it. And I can't tell you how many compliments I would get on things I would wear from that store. I can't even tell you. Pants, jeans, tops, the dresses there especially, I would get so many compliments when I would go out. Seriously. I never looked at somebody and was like, oh no, this is Joyce Leslie. I spent like $30 on this dress. Because nobody cares. They just told me they liked the dress. And I have no shame in saying that. Just like I said, I love nice things. I love nice cars, jewelry, bags, but I also have no problem spending $50 on a dress if it looks good. Now, I'm sure there's some $50 dresses that look like shit. Same thing as the expensive dresses. But it is what it is. I spent $50 on it. It looked good. It fit me good. And that's what it was. So, point of my story is, whether you're planning your wedding, living life, whatever it is, don't feel the need that you have to spend a ton of money on things to make them look good. And please, to all the people out there that feel the need to tell me how much you spent on something, stop being corny because I didn't ask.